Hey guys, it's your girl Abriah, Serenity, and I'm back with you with another prophetic word. And this prophetic word is going to be kind of short and to the point. And the way the Lord got this prophetic word across to me was really, really interesting. Oh, not you trying to introduce yourself before I can formally introduce you. Say hi to Joy. Say hi. Yeah, she's sleepy. Oh, I don't think... Yeah, she's a little sheepy. Say hi to the people. Say, my name is Joy. And this video is kind of about her and how she came to be. Are you falling asleep? Are you going? Okay, well, I'll just carry on while you nap and I talk about you. Okay. So a couple weeks ago, actually a month ago, I had this dream that I was in my home and I was feeling really anxious and I was feeling really unsettled and just not at peace. And I ended up leaving the place I was at in the dream, and I walked up to this car and I opened up the car door to the back seat, and I saw this cat and this dog like napping together, like just peacefully sitting there. And I remember scooping up the dog and the cat, and they were both so cute, and I brought them home with me. And then the dog and the cat were just home with me, and I felt a lot more comfortable and at peace. And then I woke up from that dream, laughing when I woke up, because I was like, what was that about? Like, I don't really know what that was about. And I kind of was like confused, because I'm like, okay, looked at the interp wasn't making sense. So I said, okay, I'm just going to leave it be. Maybe the Lord will give me deeper revelation later. And so after that, a couple weeks later, people start posting kittens, and all the kittens look the same. And none of these people are connected to each other. None of these people know each other. And if they do know each other, they know them in passing. And so they all are uploading pictures and saying, hey, we have these kittens available. They're free. Now, what's interesting about this is that the Lord knows that I'm not going to go out and buy an animal. I'm not. I believe that if the Lord wants me to have an animal in the form of a companion, that it will find its way to me and I will not have to pay for it, because I know it will be a gift from God. Like, God is gifting me this animal to have in my home, right? And I'm not gonna have to pay for it. You know, if the Lord is giving something to you as a gift, you're not gonna have to pay for it. So I just knew, like, if the Lord wants me to have a pet, it'll be free. It'll find its way to me. I'm not gonna have to come out of pocket to have it. You were posting all these free kittens. These kittens was free. They said all you gotta do is come pick them up. They got their shots, you know, they're new, you know, they're really, really young. You can grow up with them, all these things. And they all look the same. So I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get one of these kittens, you know, just to see. I did just have that dream about having a cat. You know, the cat looked young in the dream. You know, who knows? Maybe the Lord wants me to have a cat. And if the Lord wants me to have these kittens, then by his will, you know, I will have one. So I reach out to these people and they say, oh, we gave the cats away. They're all gone now. And I'm like, okay, it just wasn't in God's will for me to have one right now. And then somebody else posted something and they say, hey, we're giving away this kitten and all you got to do is come pick him up. And I said, hey, I'll come pick him up. Where's the cat? And they'll say, hey, the cat's in this area. And that area was enemy territory. It was devil territory. I said, oh, I'm not going to the enemy's territory to get a cat, because it'll be just my luck that I'll go into that territory and be somewhere I'm not supposed to be and I get robbed on my way to get my cat. I don't even want to be in that area, you know what I'm saying? And I did not know this person as well either. So I kind of was like, yeah, I'm not going to just pull up to some random people that I don't really know that well that live in this area. Didn't really sound too safe. So I said, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. So I passed on that. It wasn't in the Lord's will for me to have that kitten. Somebody from my church is outside one day. They're walking with their kids, riding their bikes, and their kid finds this kitten, this newborn kitten is meowing and looking injured and malnourished on the sidewalk. And they pick up the kitten, put it in the little bucket, and they bring it home and they start posting pictures and say, hey, does anybody want a kitten? We found this kitten. If nobody picks her up, we're gonna put her back outside. She's free, you know, she's really, really small. She needs to go to the vet, yada, yada, yada. And I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out and see if I can get this cat. I said, hey, I'll take her. I'll pick her up. Hold her for me. And they say, oh yeah, we'll hold her for her till you get here. When can you be here? I said, I'll be there within the hour. And I said, if it's in God's will for me to have this cat, then this cat will still be there by the time I get there. And so I get up to their house and the cat is still there and she's in the box, and she's even smaller in person. Like, she's so tiny. I'm like, oh my goodness. She looked tiny in the video, the clip that I just showed you guys, but she was smaller than that. When I was just like, oh my goodness. And she had blue eyes and she was so tiny, and I just fell in love with this cat. When I laid eyes on her, I'm like, yep, you're mine. You're coming home with me. Didn't think I was ever going to have a cat. And if I did have a cat, I thought I was going to have a cat after I had a dog. But it didn't work out that way. So I kind of was like, oh my goodness, like the Lord really gave me a cat. That's crazy. Now, so what's really prophetic and interesting about this is that almost 2 years ago, actually it was 2 years ago, and I'm going to insert the clip here. my daughter drew a picture of my wedding day, right? She drew a picture of my wedding day. And the Lord used her to be some form of an encouragement to me, because I just didn't see marriage actually coming to pass in my life. And I did not believe the Lord was actually going to send somebody into my life who could be, you know, a husband to me. It just was just like, you know, I was really discouraged. You know, the stuff he had promised to me, the stuff I had seen, I was just like, is this stuff really going to happen? Or is this just all in my head, you know? And I just don't see it for me. And, you know, so one day, 2 years ago, my daughter drew this picture of me getting married, of the whole wedding. And in the picture, she drew a cat and a dog. She drew a cat and a dog in that picture. And I was like, who has a cat? Because at that time, I'm like, ain't no way we going to have a cat. We not getting no cat. And if we get any type of animal, it's going to be a dog. I'm not getting no cat. Like, that's what I'm saying back then. I'm going to insert the clip. Y'all going to be laughing. But she drew a cat and a dog in the wedding picture. I said it's going to be a cat and a dog at the wedding. And mind you, my daughter is afraid of animals. For my daughter to draw a dog and a cat was really significant. I said, oh, I guess the person that I'm marrying is going to have a dog and a cat. When in reality, the person who's going to have a dog and a cat is me. So I just thought that was funny. 2 years later, I'm sitting here now with a cat. I thought that was hilarious.
This is mommy, because this is mommy's side of the family, and this is daddy, because this is daddy's side of the family, and this is down here. This is a dog. Down here is a cat.
This is a dog?
Yeah.
Is there gonna be a dog at the wedding?
Probably. And this is down here is a cat.
Who has a cat? Okay.
And then this is mommy with her flowers, and then I'm her bridesmaid, and this is probably my cousin or something. And this is Liam, the whatever.
The ring holder?
Yeah. And then I'm the ring holder too. And then this is someone, I don't know.
You don't know who that is?
But I'm the flower holder.
Why does it say dad?
Because he will be my dad.
Oh.
But I don't know who he will be. So.
Easy. So, did you guys see the kitten? Did you guys see the drawing? You probably got to zoom in a little bit to see it, because I don't have like the original footage. But yeah, like, isn't that crazy? Like, and a part of me was encouraged by all of this, because number one, it let me know I'm that much closer to my marriage promise. I'm that much closer to my marriage promise. And it is September, and I knew something was going to happen for me in September or October of this year. Like, I just knew this was my year for something to happen in terms of marriage, whether I was going to meet somebody, whether it was going to be a proposal, or something was going to come together, whatever. Like, I knew something was going to happen. Something was in the air. And so just for me to have a cat and the Lord to bring that back to my remembrance, and me thinking like, wow, I'm that much closer to this promise that my daughter drew almost like 2 years ago. Would have never thought that I was the one who had the cat, and that we were the one who had the cat and the dog. I thought we would have had one or the other, not both. Now comes time for us to name the cat. It's time for us to name the cat, and I cannot name the cat to save my life. Like, I cannot think of anything. Okay, I'm not thinking of anything. I'm drawing blanks. My daughter's like, oh, I got this. I'm gonna name her. And my daughter is just shouting out all these ridiculous names. She can name her Nene. Let's call her Day Day, Shanae. I'm like, I'm trying to give my cat these hood classic names. Okay, we don't have a hood cat, we have a classy cat. Okay, let's give her a holy name. Let's give her an inspirational name. Okay, let's drop off the hood names. Okay, the hood nicknames. We don't want to name our cat that. And so it was funny watching my daughter come up with these names. But it was one day in particular where my daughter was sitting on the edge of the bed. She said, ooh, I know what we're gonna name her. And I said, what are you gonna name her? And she said, I'm gonna name her Joy. That's her name. And I'm sticking to it. That's her name. And I kind of was like, Joy, I don't know if I like that name for a cat. And my daughter was like, no, that's her name. I'm telling you, that's her name. And my daughter was so convinced that was her name. And I said, you know what, fine. Because I couldn't think of anything. And then something in me was just like, I'm just going to let it stick. And we just started calling her Joy from that point forward. And so the Lord used this illustration to prophesy to me and a lot of other people that he has not forgotten about these marriage promises. Okay, he has not forgotten about you guys, and he's getting ready to restore joy in your life. A lot of you have not been happy. A lot of you have been trying to have as much joy as you can possibly have, but it's really hard to be happy and have joy and have that light to you when you're constantly getting beat up all the time, when you're constantly having warfare all the time, when you constantly just have, it's just one thing after the other just robbing you of your joy. The enemy has been robbing you of a lot of things, but a lot of you have not noticed that the enemy has robbed you of your joy. You don't have joy, and the Lord is saying, I'm getting ready to restore joy to you. I'm getting ready to give you your joy back. I'm getting ready to bring joy into your home again. A lot of you have been coming home, and even though you're glad to have a home, you have peace. There's not a lot of joy in it. And the Lord is saying, I'm getting ready to bring joy into your home. And I prophesy that to you today, that what the enemy has stolen from you is getting ready to be restored to you. You are getting ready to be redeemed, and joy will find its way into your home. And the Lord is going to do it in the most unsuspecting way. It may not be through a pet like it was for me. It may not be an animal. Okay, I think he just used my kitten as an illustration of the prophecy that I'm speaking to you today. But a lot of you are getting ready to be restored, and the joy is getting ready to be restored to your home and your life. For some of you, there's going to be somebody who comes into your life this year. There's going to be somebody that you meet this year, and they are going to bring so much joy. You're not even going to realize how much joy you were lacking until this person comes into your life, or until this thing happens, or until you have this divine encounter with God. It may not even be a person, an animal, or a thing. It may just be a divine encounter with God that may spark something in you, that may ignite that fire in you, that lets you know it's okay to have joy. It's okay to smile. The Lord loves to see you laugh. The Lord loves to see you happy. The Lord cares about your happiness. A lot of you are just like, I'm miserable, but I'm doing what I'm called to do. And the Lord says, I care about your happiness. You guys, the Lord cares about our joy. He cares. He cares about the things that make us smile. He loves to see us laugh. He loves seeing us cackle. He loves having delightful times with us. The Lord doesn't want the only time you come to him is when you're crying, or when you're upset, or when you're weary down. Sometimes he wants to have a moment with you where he's just like, look how happy you are. He wants you to have delight in him. He doesn't want you to be weary. He doesn't want serving him to just be a miserable experience for you. He wants you to have joy. So the Lord sees that a lot of you have been robbed of your joy. And the Lord also does not want some of you to blame him for the reason why you don't have joy in your life, when it's the exact opposite. It's the enemy that's stealing your joy from you. It's the enemy messing with the environment and the circumstances around you that's trying to keep you from being happy, that's trying to keep you from having joy even in the middle of it. Okay, that's trying to keep you from being happy or being yourself. There's some of us who had a light about us. There's some of us that had a little pep in our step. There's a little silliness that we had about us in the past that's no longer with us because the enemy took it from us. The enemy took it from us, and the Lord is saying, I'm getting ready to give it back. I'm getting ready to give it back. And some of you are going to meet somebody in the form of the spouse. And some of these spouses are going to come into your lives and bring you so much joy. A lot of you are going to be like, wow, I did not know I could smile this much. And some of you are going to be like, why am I smiling this much? You making me smile too much. It's going to be, this person is going to come into your life bearing the fruits of the Spirit. You're not going to have to be questioning this person. This person is not going to come into you looking shady or come into you any type of way. This person is going to be bearing all the fruits of the Spirit, and they're going to bring peace to your life. They're going to bring joy into your life, joy that you had never experienced. Because like I said, some of you have been reading about love. You know what love is supposed to be, but you've never actually experienced it the way you're supposed to. Some of you only know struggle love. Some of you only know love that's inconsistent. Some of you only know a falsified, worldly type of love. But this person is going to come into your life and show you what real love is, biblical love is. Some of you are getting ready to connect with kingdom friendships. Okay, kingdom friendships, or friendships are getting ready to be restored. Marriages are getting ready to be restored. And some of you are kind of like, there's no way I can have joy, you know, in these situations, because some of you are really turned off from rekindling. Some of you are kind of like, there's no way I'm gonna ever be friends with that person again. There's no way I'm ever going to rekindle with this person ever again. There's no way my marriage is going to be restored because I just don't want it to be restored. And the Lord is saying today that when these people come back into your life, you will have so much joy. You're going to have so much joy. You're going to be like, I never knew. I never knew. For those of you who have been standing, for those of you who have just been growing weary and just like, forget it, the Lord is saying you are going to be like, I never knew I could be so happy. What song is that? That's a Kurt Franklin song. I never knew I could be so happy. Hey, I never knew I'd be so secure. Hey, because of your love, life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day. Some of y'all gonna have brighter days. Y'all gonna have brighter days. Some of you guys are gonna be like, wow, my life has gotten so much better since this person has come back to my life, since we have been reconciled, since this person has come into my life, since I've met this person. A lot of you are going to be like, wow, like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Some of you are gonna be like, I did not know what I was missing when you were not in my life. I did not know it was possible to be loved in this way. I did not know it was possible to have a friendship, a relationship in this capacity. I would pray for it. I would dream about it. I would think about it, but I just never knew it could be like this. And And when these people come into your life, whether it's a friend, whether it's somebody new, whether you're rekindling, whether this is a spouse that you've been standing for in terms of reconciliation, or someone that the Lord showed you that would be your spouse in the future, or if this is just somebody brand new. If it's somebody brand new, the Lord wants you to know that when this person comes back, they're going to come back bearing the fruits of the Spirit, and it's going to flow. Things are just going to flow. It's going to flow. It's not going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be easy, but it's going to flow. It's not going to be a lot of resistance. All that warfare, all that stuff that was going on in your life before when you was dealing with counterfeits and the confusion and the fruits that were not the Spirit. You're going to be like, wow, this is what I should have been experiencing. This is what this is supposed to be like. This is the fruit that I'm supposed to be seeing. This is what I really wanted. Okay, this is what this is supposed to be. And a lot of you are going to be like, wow. Like, it's just going to flow. It's just going to seem so easy. It's going to seem so easy. Easy like Sunday morning. Okay, that's what it's going to feel like when these people come into your life. Not only are these people going to come into your life and just bring you all this joy, things are just going to flow in a way where you're like, why is everything just flowing? And even though we are in such uncertain times, this is why this is so important, because these people are going to bring you joy because there's a lot of uncertainty that's ahead of us. There's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to happen in the U.S. right now. And it's really important that we be around secure people. It's very important that we have destiny helpers around us. It's very important that you be around people who bear fruits of the Spirit, because you're not going to want to be around the wrong people during these times. You need to be able to be around people you trust. You need a good community. You need a good village. You need a good support system, because in the times to come, there's a lot of difficult things ahead. There's a lot of famines. There's a lot of judgment on the U.S. There's a lot of things that are happening, and the Lord is making sure I am having you around people who bring you joy. Even when the world seems to be falling apart and all these things seem to be happening, this person is going to put a smile on your face. These people, your family, your kids, your husband, your wife, your friend, your destiny helpers, your mentor, your pastor, whoever, are going to put a smile on your face every single time without fail. And I'm not saying you're not going to have ups and downs. I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect, but it's going to flow. It's going to be just so easy. It's going to seem easy. It's going to be like, wow, I don't have to do too much. I don't have to do too much for this. I don't have to do anything. It's just things are just happening. Things are just going to happen, right? And some of you are going to see a complete turnaround from people that you've been standing for. You're going to be like, wow, I was standing for this person so long, and I would have never thought we got to this point. Or the old version of them, you would have been like, I would have never seen this version of this person before if the Lord had not had me praying for it. A lot of you are going to be like, wow. You're going to have joy brought back into your life, your family's life, your home. Every area of your life is just going to have some brightness to it. The Lord is getting ready to cut the light back on. He's getting ready to cut the light back on for a lot of us. The scriptures the Lord led me to was Psalms 94. So we have verses 17 through 19, where it says, unless the Lord had been my help, my soul would soon have settled in silence. If I say my foot slips, your mercy, O Lord, will hold me up. In the multitude of my anxieties within me, your comforts delight my soul. Okay? Unless the Lord had been my help, my soul would have settled in silence. If I say my foot slips, your mercy, O Lord, will hold me up. In the multitude of my anxieties within me, your comforts delight my soul. Like I said in the last prophetic word, I don't remember what prophetic word. I think it was the same prophetic word. It's time to go, Rebecca, where I was saying that a lot of these spouses are going to bring comfort to you. They are going to be a comfort to you. The Lord, this person is a gift to you. This friend is a gift to you. These people that are coming, whether it's an animal, whether it's an opportunity, whatever this is going to be some form of comfort to you, because a lot of you have been living a very unnormal life, and it's been very uncomfortable for you. And the Lord is saying, I'm getting ready to send you some comfort. I'm getting ready to send you some comfort, and it's going to be delightful. Okay, you'll be able to delight in the Lord with these people. You're going to be able to worship with these people. You're going to be able to read the Bible with these people. You're going to be able to do Bible study with these people. It's going to be effortless. You have been struggling throughout this entire process, whether you're waiting for marriage or you just been standing and waiting for God to make a change in your life. It's nothing but the mercy of the Lord that has been your help, that has gotten you through this far. And the Lord is saying, I know that my mercy has gotten you through, but I'm getting ready to send you some comfort. I'm getting ready to send you some joy back into your life. Another scripture the Lord led me to was Psalms 51 verses 11 through 12, where it says, do not cast me away from your presence, and do not take your Holy Spirit from me. Restore me to the joy of your salvation, and uphold me by your generous spirit. Now, some of us had our joy taken away from us because we was out here living in sin. Okay, let's just be real. Some of us were out here doing things, and we were just living through the consequences of our actions. That's really what a lot of us have been enduring. A lot of us have been going through these things, these situations, because the Lord has been trying to correct things that we did wrong in the past. A lot of us have been just going through the trenches, and the Lord's grace has been sufficient for us as we went through. And the Lord is saying, now that I've gotten you through and I've cleaned you up, I'm getting ready to restore you. I'm getting ready to restore the joy of your salvation. And the Lord is going to be so generous with you. The Lord is going to gift you so many things. And this thing, people are just going to be showering some of us with love. Some of us are going to be showered with love. We're going to be showered with love. When these people come into your life, this man or this woman that you're going to marry, not only are you going to be showered with love by that person, but your in-laws that come with them. Okay? The in-laws that come with them are going to be showering you with love too. The friends that you have are going to shower you with love. They're going to be so generous. They're going to be giving you gifts. They're going to be so thoughtful. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, this is almost overwhelming. Almost, I'm not used to this. A lot of you are going to be showered with love. Showered with love. The Holy Spirit is going to be showering some of us with love as well. If it's not in the form of a person or a spouse or a friend, the Lord is saying that he's getting ready to send you some comfort in the most supernatural way, in a way that you're just like, wow, I can't believe the Lord did that for me, in a supernatural way. You may meet some random person in the parking lot that just gives you a word, of encouragement. Somebody in the supermarket just may lay hands and pray for you, in the supermarket, and say, hey, the Lord told me he wanted me to pray for you. Hey, the Lord wanted me to tell you this. And it may just give you some sort of joy, okay? And a lot of you have been going through such hard times because of sin in your past. I know now some of you may be too young to understand how sometimes you can make a mistake, or sometimes you can make a decision in your youth and you can still be paying the price for it 10 years later. And it just be a thorn in your side. And you just like, I can't believe I did that. And I never knew that something I did in my youth was going to follow me into my 40s. How can I still be suffering the consequences of something I did when I was in my early 20s and my teens? It's crazy. But some of us understand the weight of sin sometimes. And sometimes we just got to allow the Lord's grace to be sufficient for us. And sometimes those thorns can take away our joy. And the Lord has plans to restore our joy. The Lord doesn't allow the enemy to hold us down for too long. The Lord is like, I'm not going to allow this thing from your past to steal your joy for too long. I'm not going to allow this thing to make you miserable. I'm not going to allow this thing to determine whether or not you have a quality of life. I'm not going to allow this situation that I forgave you for to be the bane of your existence. I'm not going to allow you to live a life that is not up to par with what my word says. The Lord came so that you can live a life abundantly. And the Lord says you will be able to claim the abundance that is yours, your inheritance. You need to claim your inheritance restored to you. Stop letting the enemy steal your joy. Stand in your authority and say, I want my joy. I want my joy. Some of you may have made choices. Some of you may have made decisions in your past and it stole your joy from you for quite some time. But the Lord is saying, just call out to him and say, restore to me the joy of your salvation. Uphold me by your generous spirit. And the Lord will restore to you what you have lost. And some of you may think, oh, he's going to restore to me like tangible items. No, he may restore to you your joy. He may restore to you your happiness, the things that were taken from you, okay? So do understand today that the Lord is restoring people's joy in supernatural ways. It may be in the form of a spouse. It may be in the form of a friend. You may be rekindling some friendships in this time. You may be reconciling with a spouse in this time. You may be coming across some divine opportunities that are going to change the trajectory of your life, where you're no longer in a season of lack, where you're no longer in a situation where you're just stressed out about the things happening around you. Or you may have a divine or a supernatural encounter with God that's just going to give you this joy and this fire put back in your life. Some of you have been enduring seasons of suffering, okay? Because, or I won't say suffering, but humbling. I will say you've been humbled, okay, because of the consequences of your actions in previous seasons or from years ago that you've been going through, and the Lord, his grace has been sufficient to get you through. But in that process, a lot of your joy was stripped from you. Even though you were being humbled, your joy was just being taken from you. You weren't laughing as much as you were. That bubbly spirit that you have was gone. That innocence about you was gone. And the enemy has been trying to make you so miserable. He has been trying to make you so unhappy. And the Lord is saying, I'm getting ready to bring joy back into your house. I'm getting ready to bring joy back into your life. I'm getting ready to bring people into your life that make you smile, that just make you happy, that just make you glow when you're around them, okay? The Lord is saying no more counterfeits. No more counterfeits. No more counterfeits are going to be approaching you in this season. The Lord is saying anybody around you that's not supposed to be around you, you need to be praying and asking the Lord to reveal if they're not around you, and be cutting ties. And you don't have to announce that you're coming. Sometimes you got to just do it quietly, okay? But the Lord is saying in this season, he is restoring joy into a lot of people's lives. The enemy has robbed a lot of people of their joy by messing with their circumstances, by messing with their money, by messing with their environment, by making things difficult for them and just finding it really difficult to laugh or find joy in anything when they're just always suffering. The enemy wants to put them in a constant loop, a constant cycle of suffering so that they can just be miserable. They could just be miserable and they could just settle. Some of you were willing to settle for something that was not going to make you happy because you thought this was as good as it's going to get. Some of you wanted to settle for something that was immediate. You wanted to settle for something that was right then, right now. And the Lord is saying, no, some of you have been patient and humbled and suffering and waiting for me to bring to you or bring you out of a situation that your joy can be restored so I can bring you and position you in the place where I need you to be. Some of us have been that Joseph in the prison cell just waiting on somebody to send for us. Okay, remember the prophetic word I said that some of us have been standing in the line. We just been standing and standing and standing in the line, just weary, miserable, weary, hot, just ready to walk out, ready to back down. And the Lord is saying, the Lord is saying, don't give up, because I'm restoring people's joy in this hour. And even though there's going to be so many things happening in the world, there's going to be so many things happening in the world that are not joyous. There's going to be so much stuff happening on the news, diseases and plagues and earthquakes and storms and flooding and attacks and all these things, assassinations attempts, all this stuff, assassinations, all these things are going to be happening. But you're going to have people around you that remind you that even in the midst of all this, God is going to give you unspeakable joy. And people are going to be looking at you and saying, how can you be happy when the world is in the state that it's in right now? How can you be happy when you saw what was on the news? How can you be happy knowing what's going on right now? How can you be happy? But the Lord gave me back my joy. The Lord gave me back my joy. He restored joy to my soul. He put the light back in my soul. Some of you been feeling dark. You're like, man, I don't remember the last time I laughed. Some people are like, why are you so serious? You ain't got no joy. Okay, you ain't got no joy. And the Lord's saying he's giving joy back in the form of a spouse, in the form of a pet, in the form of an opportunity, in the form of a divine encounter with somebody maybe you don't even know. Rekindling of friendships, reconciliation of marriages. And some of you be like, you know, I don't see how reconciliation can bring me joy. If anything is going to bring me stress. You have no idea how good God is. You have no idea. And I just thought of this, like just how it is when a woman gives birth to a child and all that pain she was feeling in the moment before that baby came out, and it just instantly stops and goes away, and you see that baby and you're just like, wow, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Some of you are going to be feeling that way. Some of you have been waiting for so long. You're going to be like, wow, that wait was worth it. Wow, everything that I went through was worth it. That's why I said in the last prophetic word, some of you are going to be looking back and realize why you had to wait for so long. And some of you are going to be like, it was worth it. It was worth it. Some of you think, oh, I'm going to be so mad I had to wait this long, and by the time it gets here, I'm not even going to want it. But Lord, you're not going to say that. You're not going to say that. You're going to be like, it was so worth it. It was so worth it. Everything I learned along the way, every prophetic word, everything that I experienced up until this point was worth it. It was intentional. It had purpose. And the Lord is getting ready to bring joy back into your home, bring joy back into your life. And a lot of you are going to be smiling and laughing. A lot of you are going to be in relationships, being courted. Matter of fact, some of you are not even going to be in relationships. You're just going to go straight from being single to being married. There's not going to be any like girlfriend, boyfriend phase. Honestly, some of us too old for that. And we need to stop saying we got boyfriends and girlfriends. Some of y'all is 30 and up. You don't have a boyfriend. You don't have a girlfriend. You have a friend that you are courting. And until that person is your wife or your husband, they are just your friend. Okay, don't say that's your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Some of us too grown for that. We are not children. Okay, but the Lord is getting ready to bring joy back into a lot of our lives, and a lot of us need to be thanking the Lord right now. Even though it looks so uncertain and the times we're in are so uncertain, the fact that the Lord can even put joy in our lives in such a time as this is just amazing to me. It's just amazing to me. Even the illustration that he used with my kitten, you know, and all the joy that has been brought into my home. I'm telling you guys, my daughter is afraid of cats. My daughter doesn't like animals, but ever since this kitten has been in my house, there's been so much joy and happiness in my house. It's just been something so exciting, something so new, and we just all been giddy and just laughing. And the kitten does something different for each and every one of us. So that joy the Lord is bringing back into your life, it's not going to just be serving you, but it's going to be for everyone around you. Your cup is going to be full of joy, and it's just going to runneth over. Your cup is going to be so full, it's going to run over to the people around you, and the people around you are going to have joy. You're going to be so full, and you're going to be like, wow. I ran into a woman at church today. that I know, that I met in a divorce care group, and she was a leader, and her husband passed away. And I just remember what she looked like when he first passed away. And I seen her for the first time in like over a year, and she was glowing. She was glowing, and she seemed so happy, and she had so much joy. And I knew that was the glory of the Lord. And I told her, that's the Lord on you. That's the joy of the Lord on you, because there's no way after everything that she went through and how suddenly it was that she could be looking so bright and vibrant and happy the way that she was, is because God was holding together, and God gave her this unspeakable joy in the midst of all her sadness, in the midst of everything that's happening in the world. He thought of her and says, I'm going to bring you joy. I'm going to bring you joy. I'm going to put the joy back into your life after all this grief, after all this sadness, after all this suffering, after all this warfare. A lot of us are getting ready to be redeemed, and we need to be thanking the Lord now. He has not forgotten your marriage promise. He has not forgotten. Some of you are so close. Some of us are so close. And now that I have this kitten, I didn't realize how close I was, but I'm like, oh, snap. We close. We getting close. It's getting close. It's almost that time. Just know, the Lord has not forgotten you, and the Lord knows what he's doing. He's being intentional in this hour, and just know that joy is coming back to your home. Joy is being brought back to you. Joy is being brought back into your relationships in the form of rekindling, reconciliation, or just meeting new people. And the Lord is being so intentional in this hour, even with all the things. Don't pay attention to what's happening in the world right now. Pay attention, but don't be fearful. Don't be consumed by it. And do know that in the midst of all these things happening, there's still going to be good things happening on the in-between, okay? All right, my name is Abriah Serenity. If you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any more uploads from me. I love you all with the love of the Lord. I'll see you guys next time.